Welcome, brothers and sisters in Christ, to the Log Cabin Podcast. I'm joined here with, as usual, Bompton, and our boy. I put his name is Bo, but I put his Discord name on the screen because I didn't know his name was before this. So, DudeFails.
DudeFails. That's what he is. His gamer tag.
He can go by that, or he can go by Bo. Either way.
Yeah. Bo works just fine here. I'm used to that one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to call your gamer tag out in Modern Warfare. Like, hey, DudeFails, this way, dude. Hey, dude. Not you, dude. The actual dude. DudeFails.
Dude.
Just every teammate assumes you're talking to them.
Yeah, I would assume so, man. I would assume so. So, Bo's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah, how did you guys meet?
I should do introductions. We actually live on the same street.
Okay.
Yeah. Funny enough, we live in the same style house, like identical. Yeah. We are in the exact same room right now, but in two different houses. Way. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Actually, if you really think about it, depending on how big that desk is, he and I are sitting in the exact same spot.
We're in the same spot. My window's right here. Oh my god. We are sitting
right here.
literally in the same spot, 6 houses away from each other. It's fucking strange. I never thought about that. We game together. Like, it's like a LAN party, but not a LAN party. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You guys are like in different dimensions.
I know, right? I can't wait to. I actually saw a weird TikTok on that where this dude was walking with that Bearstein Bears. And he walked from one room to the other room, and as he was walking, changing rooms, it was going from an E to an A. like he found, I swear to God, I'll send you the TikTok.
I believe you saw the TikTok that did that, but I don't believe that was real.
Wow, bro, really?
Are you telling me that he went?
You've never seen the show Fringe? Are you kidding me? You can't just. No. Slip into the next dimension?
You're telling me that he goes into another dimension that changes the spelling of Bearstein Bears?
No, I wouldn't say next to it. Maybe he just crosses into a different portal that is the Mandela effect. Like, he found it. Like, what if the Mandela effect, because, like, for some people, it's not a real thing. What if, like, here's let's say this round Earth, right? Well, let's say this ball right here, and there's just a bunch of globs of like zones that are in Mandela effect.
That reminds me of a story I saw like a few years ago about, and actually recently my brother reminded me of it, and it was this dude that gets home one day and finds out that his sink is like leaking and it's like flooding his kitchen. So he goes in there to fix it, and he ends up like traveling to the future where he met himself as like a 74-year-old man. Do you remember that?
There's a movie. It was a show, right?
No, it wasn't a show. It was like a guy that made a
yeah. They both wearing like white T-shirts. Yeah,
they had the same tattoo and stuff.
It was like a dirty snake tattoo. I remember. Yeah.
I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
Some guy said that he was fixing his sink and fell into a portal that sent him into the future. And he was like 30 years old. And he went into the himself. Yeah, at like 60 or something.
74 is what it said.
74, yeah.
And he like took pictures with the guy, and it was like they were talking. He told him stuff. He told him stuff that only he would know and stuff. Like, I don't mean, you don't know how real this stuff is.
Was his name Mario?
No, that does sound like something that Mario would do. Super Mario goes to the future.
I didn't even put two and two together.
Luigi, I was fixing my sink and I fell into the future.
It's me, Mario.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just.
But that sounds like. I'm so sorry to cut you off. But that's how funny the game Super Mario is. I heard it. I was listening to the story, right? And I'm like, wow, a guy fell into a sink? Yeah, bro, that's crazy. That is the story of Super Mario. And pretty much, it's not the future, but it's a different dimension. Like, he's not going next door.
It's the story of the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is
sounds pretty similar, actually.
A dumpster fire that I like to watch at least once a year. Remember that movie?
I love that movie. The Koopa Troopas were the best in that movie. You never seen it?
No,
I saw it.
Yeah, you didn't like it?
The year it came out, I was like, this movie fucking sucks.
Wait, how old were you? How old were you when it came out?
Tell me what year it was, and I'll tell you how old it was.
I want to say it was like 88 or something. Let me check.
Nah, it was definitely in the 90s. It was like 92 or 93, maybe.
Because you're a little bit older than me.
12-ish.
You're just a dash older than me. Sprinkle. Like the
It was
white hairs on
It was 1993.
Yeah, so I was 12.
What was I?
Yeah, I was playing
6.
Mortal Kombat.
I was 6. I was whooping
dude.
your ass in Mortal Kombat. A B A B A
Mortal
C C A.
Kombat.
Wait,
Yeah.
no, what was it? What was it? It was A B A B A C C A.
Depends on the character you play in.
No. That's when the game started. That activated blood mode.
Blood for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
For Super Nintendo,
Because
yeah, it
Sega was
only
like,
there on the
we give you
Genesis.
blood, fuck you.
No, Sega, you had to do it too. Was it for Sega?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, I remember doing that code on
Sega
my
had
Sega.
blood. Sega had blood.
I don't think Sega
Sega had blood built in, dude.
Oh,
They had the
Sega
built-in
gave it-
blood,
it gave
dude.
It had more blood or something like that.
No,
was
it had
even
the
more
built-in
gore.
blood, dude.
I think it was a cheat code to activate something completely different in the
We're
game.
gonna have to.
Super
we're gonna have to dogpile it,
uppercuts or some crazy shit. Yeah.
Dude,
I said,
think,
you hear me, Pat? We're gonna have to dogpile it.
I heard you. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite Mortal Kombat character was Kano, actually. Which,
He was one of my favorites as well.
just because his finishing move was so easy to perform. It was like left, right, left, right, left, right, A, B, B, A, or something like that. And I was like, yeah, rip your fucking heart out, man. Ah!
Yeah. It was awesome too because when he took it out, there was a slight pause when he brought it past his face
Yeah.
and then went up. So we used to tell each other like, "Yeah, he's taking a bite out of your heart," and then showing it to everybody like, "Fuck you, dude."
Such a good game. Such a good game.
Was.
What about you, Pat? Who are you Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat. Like who's my main?
Who's your main? Who's your squeeze?
I don't know, man. Honestly, in the original, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, but I did like Night Wolf a whole lot in some of the later ones.
Ooh. I
That was
couldn't
pretty
get his combinations down.
When I was a kid, I didn't play as much Mortal Kombat as I did Street Fighter. I think that was the one I had.
Okay. Did you get down with Capcom versus Marvel?
Yeah, like
Yes,
on
sir.
PlayStation for sure.
That was
More
my
Marvel,
shit.
less Capcom.
Yeah, definitely Wolverine.
Yeah, who's your
Berserker
three? Who's your
Barrage.
three man?
Cable, you gotta go Cable on MVC2. He's out. He's busted.
I felt like I always did Ryu.
Yeah.
Then the purple guy. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. With a G.
Thanos? Or...
No, not is it Thanos? Thanos, right?
Thanos.
And then and then not that purple guy. The purple guy who's just like Ryu, but the
Akuma.
Akuma. Yeah.
Yeah. Akuma.
I did Ryu, Akuma, and then I did Jin. And just because Jin had that big ass robot with him, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I want to say I used Iron Man, Strider, and somebody else, but I honestly don't remember. I haven't played those games in like probably
them.
15 years at least now.
Only will play them in an actual arcade standing form. I won't play it on PC. I won't play it on Xbox. It's not the same. If I can't have that joystick and
so back in the day, dude, when we were going to arcades all the time, we used to play this 2 games. One was a motorcycle racing game where you had like Harleys and cruisers and Fat Bobs and shit. And then another one was a skateboarding game where you were like on a makeshift skateboard.
I know exactly
and you would do actual like kick flips and shit on it.
The
So we
board
would
just
play
went
this-
up, right?
Yeah.
Like it would just go up and the back would slide.
Yeah, just a little bit too. It wouldn't go up very far, but and then it had rails on the side so you wouldn't eat shit while playing. Yeah.
Those were the shits, man. No, but I would only play Capcom versus Marvel. I would get in it. There was a little pool hall up in Whittier when I was living I was probably like, actually I already had left Whittier. I was going back when I was older. I was like 20, 21. And there was a little pool hall that I'd go to out there, and they had Capcom versus Marvel, and we throw down some money. Like it'd easily lose and win like $20, $30 games. Easily.
Damn.
Easily. Yeah. I loved it. I'd be smacking. Was the best. So I think we got a couple topics for today. Is that right, Pat?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, go for it.
I want you to start because your topic is the most interesting one.
Well, mine I can go on all day, so I don't want to do that because there are already a multitude of podcasts. So I'm going to just do a shout out for if anybody here is listening and interested in Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever. There is a a podcast I've got into. My cousin got me into it. It's called the Sasquatch Chronicles. They're pretty sizable. I think the dude from that was like on one of those shows. I'm not 100% on that, but I think he was on one of those like search for Bigfoot shows. But anyways, so I didn't, dude, previous to listening to all these people, and there's like over 700 episodes of this show, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
They're each 2 hours long. And
Which
every
one was
episode, it's called the Sasquatch Chronicles.
Oh, it's not the Chasing Bigfoot one?
No, it's not a show. It's a podcast.
Oh,
and so,
okay.
yeah. And so, their dude on there, he just has these guests, like, and there's at least one. I don't even like, after hearing all this, I don't even want to call them Bigfoot or Sasquatch, because the things that they describe is not like your Jax Links messing with Sasquatch, beef jerky, Harry and the Hendersons sort of thing. Like the things they describe, and the thing is, what really is starting to make me believe that there's something out there is that everybody, and there's people from all over the world that come on this podcast, and everybody describes the same thing, like down to the color of its nose holes. Like everything about it is incredibly consistent. And I mean, there are some variations in color, but those are consistent based on the region that they find them in. So like where you guys are at, the Pacific Northwest, they're black, brown. Down here in the South, a lot of times they're white or lighter colored. And so those are consistent with the accounts, and it's kind of nuts, to be honest. Like I didn't believe in Bigfoot or anything like that. I thought that was just a myth, but I thought it was kind of strange though that like even back in the Middle Ages and stuff, they have the wild man stories and stuff like that. And
so like, when you say they describe him the same, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like what features do they all say that he has? Or
so
it
usually
has?
Yeah, so usually when people describe them, starting with their body, it's like they're usually anywhere from 7 to 10 feet tall, depending on if they're male or female. And they always say like, I know it's a male because like he had junk, or I know it's a female because they were breasts. So like, it's not like there is hair on it, but it's not like a bear. Like they don't describe it as fur. They say, you know, when you think of a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, you think it's like this hairy creature, but it really has human hair all over it, right? And the face is a little bit apish, but more human is what they say. Big teeth, not animal teeth, human teeth. Huge mouths, normal human noses. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nuts. So, and they always have black eyes, and their bodies are always wide at the top. They say some of these ones. I mean, again, this is someone who is like terrified. If what they say is true, the moment they're in front of these things, they're terrified. So the best they describe it is usually, you know, it could be a little bit exaggerated. I'm a logical type person. I don't think that you can measure feet from 60 yards away. But the thing is that they're like,
I mean,
it's really wide shoulders.
How big did they say his feet are?
I don't know about the feet, but they have found, you know, like
I think he means
footprints.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
height.
sorry.
Yeah, and height.
I'm sorry.
They say they're wide across the chest, and their arms, their hands usually go down to like their knees.
Ooh.
And then another thing that's really creepy to me is most of the accounts, the people say they pee themselves, and I think that's only the people that are willing to admit it, because it always lets out this scream, and it's not a roar, it's not a growl, it's a scream that kind of immobilizes them, and they always say it's super intense. And they say that it's like, it just makes them like not be able to move, and sometimes makes them sick for the next couple days. Not sick like the flu, but sick like fatigue, being hungover, that sort of feeling, right? And there is some crazy accounts.
Like pheromones it's pushing out?
You know, I don't know. There is a term for it that they talk about, that some of these Bigfoot people talk about, and I don't know if it's true or anything. But I mean, a lot of times it's people that are hunters, people that are, you know, I mean, there are thousands of acres, thousands and thousands of pieces of property in America alone that have never really been touched. I mean, they're mountainsides. There was this dude in Alabama that like lives in this area that there's caves all under this plateau, and this was in like the 80s, like late 80s. He goes out coon hunting with his dad's dogs, and so not that kind. And so I knew that look. And so he goes he goes out, and then this thing scares the dog. Long story short, this thing scares the dogs off, and he comes out he comes out later or whatever, and he basically said he came back to bring larger guns because this thing was circling him and his buddies in the woods. And then he leaves, and then he comes back, and his dogs were still out there, so he goes and gets them. And when he comes back, he walks down this mile-long logging road that's down there, and his dog actually meets him out of the woods there, and he puts a leash on it, and he looks up, and there's this dude, like this huge guy, standing at the end of the road, looking at him, watching him. And you'd have to listen to these. Yeah, you'd have to listen to these stories because these people get really emotional when they're telling the stories. I understand. I'm not a gullible person, I don't think, and I don't usually believe anything anybody says. But like the way that these people recount this stuff, it's a big deal to them. So, anyways, the crazy part is he ends up, he's not going to go toward it, so it's blocking like the way he came, and he didn't feel like it was aggressive. It was just kind of stalking him. So he keeps on walking, and he knew that there was this old guy that lived out in this open field in like a cabin, had no electricity, no running water, nothing like that. This kind of family friend type guy. He goes out there and he walks in the house, and he knocks on the door, walks in the house, and he didn't say anything about this thing that he saw. And the guy, and it followed him all the way out to this clearing right near this dude's house. And he said like 30 minutes into the hanging out with this guy, the guy's like, "So I bet you wondering what's following you out there." And he's like, "Yeah, actually, yeah." And he's like, "I don't know what it is." He's like, "It's always out there watching me when I'm out there." He's like, "There's some others that will mess with you, but this one doesn't bother me." He's like, "This one kind of seems like he's the boss." That's just one of like I said, there's like 800 episodes almost of this podcast. I'd highly recommend it. Okay, I highly recommend this podcast. It's like I said, if you are at all curious about the fact that there's some other sort of humanoid creature out there, there's a story basically from any part of the country that you can listen to with these people. And there's hunters that claim they have shot them, not killed them, but shot them.
That's what I'm saying. So like, does nobody ever kills them?
No one has ever. Well, actually, there was these two Mormon guys. And one of them is the one that's telling the story. They go out and they are doing missionary work, and they go to this guy who's like an ex-sheriff somewhere in Sacramento area or something like that in like the 70s. And so this dude's like on his deathbed basically, and they go out there to this guy, and he's like, there's something. They're talking to him about God and stuff, and they're doing their job, but they noticed he had like some taxidermy, like deer and stuff like that in his house, and they started talking to him about hunting, fishing, outdoor stuff, because that was kind of their interest as well. So they get to talking to this guy, and they go out to his place a couple of times, like 3 or 4 times, to kind of like visit with him. And then one time they go out there, and he had just got back from the hospital, and he says, "I gotta let you guys know something that I've kept a secret my entire life, and I can't keep it a secret any longer. I don't recommend that you tell anybody about this, but I gotta get it off my chest." So they thought he was gonna like tell him he like killed somebody or something like that. It was like a really emotional thing for this old guy. And so he ends up telling them that this agency of the government tells him and his deputies that they need them to go out and shoot this creature that was causing trouble in this valley. And so they get out there on helicopters, and the dude actually had pictures, again, according to this dude who's telling the story, who was shown photos by this guy and an audio cassette recording of what was going on. So this dude says that he did see pictures, he did hear the recording. They basically went out there and they ended up they shot a female one that they ran out of like a cave, and it had a baby with them. The female ran off. They ended up shooting the baby and killing it, and these other people came and took the body. And the guy at this point is kind of like choked up, and he doesn't want to he said, "That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, I don't," because they asked him, like, "What about the female one?" And he's like, "I don't really feel comfortable saying anything else about it." He claims he never told anybody. I don't know. I don't know. There was a dude that saw them and said
more.
Only if one of them was a Marine.
I'm not gonna list off every single story of this. I think that you guys should listen to it if you are interested. It's really interesting. But that's basically what I've been doing for the past week, listening to I'm terrified, man. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of
You're
live out in the
terrified.
rural.
You
I
do
kinda
live out in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, I've never
Oh
seen
my
or heard
god!
anything, but yeah,
But now
I'm,
that you know,
now that I've been listening to hours upon hours of people being terrified about getting
who's that creeping in your
stalked
window?
or attacked by Sasquatch, I am, very aware that at any moment there could be one
Yeah,
around a tree.
Go around your entire property and just
pee.
start pissing on shit. Yeah,
just
man.
pee.
Like,
Well, here's
I do
another
it.
thing.
This is
Some of
my house.
a lot of the ones where they're aggressive, because there's like typically two different types of encounters. There's one where it's like kind of called out and kind of scared of them in a way, even though they're absolutely terrified of its sheer size and like the fact that it exists, right? But then there's other ones that kind of creep up on these other people and they catch them off guard, and they do like they are
Get
threatening.
aggressive.
They are aggressive. Yeah, and a lot of times they
So-
said this one dude said that it was like had an erection and it was like peeing all over the place while it was screaming at him.
I mean, morning wood is morning wood. You know
I
what
mean,
I mean?
we
Dude,
all have those
You ever
days.
tried to piss with a boner though?
That's
Yeah,
the
it's
thing. I
fucking
think
Really
horrible.
tough.
that's why I think they're not human and they're not gorilla. They're kind of like in the middle, because who else could do something like that?
Dogs piss with boners.
These aren't dogs.
Pranksters.
That's another
Right.
thing, man. Yeah, but that's another thing. These people when they do go to the authorities about the stuff, they're always like met with a person in uniform and then like some other people who aren't in uniform. They're just kind of there, and they're always like, "It was a bear. You saw a bear.
So-
Don't talk about this to anybody. You saw a bear."
Yeah,
That's
you're
how
crazy. Oh,
consistently. That's how all of these stories
Yeah.
end up going.
you didn't see the rocket hit the dome. You saw a bear. No, I get it. I totally get it.
Exactly. You
Um,
understand?
No, but when you were talking about the whole like people peeing themselves and stuff, you remember? I hate to get all video gamey, but you remember in Ark, that one tame that you could have. I forget what it was called. Started with a P. It was like a different type of trike. It had like a weird shell,
Yeah,
shield,
I know what
but
you
it
mean.
had that pheromones that it would push out. It could either
Yeah.
push. You think that they do something like that?
I don't know. I think the scream they always describe is very jarring, and they say it's incredibly loud, and it's unlike anything. Like most people nobody can even try to recreate the sound, and
Weird.
a lot of times it is really weird, and it does make them like kind of freeze up and make them sick, or make them like some people faint. It's kind of crazy, like
that's the worst time to faint.
yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Just
Like I
doing
said,
everything
like I
with
said,
the boners running
if this
around
was
you, making you faint.
yeah, exactly. If this was one or two people, who were saying this, I would be like, okay, maybe these people are just trying to get some clout online, but they have no reason they have nothing to gain from telling a story as embarrassing as some of these ones are.
No,
I don't know.
get it.
There's something
I
out
don't-
there, man. Who
I don't-
knows?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't think there is any, because if you put me out in the woods in the middle of the night in the like alone, my mind's gonna believe everything the fuck is out there. Like,
Well, that's the thing. A
shit.
lot of these people
Freddy
end up
Krueger.
thinking that they had some sort of mental breakdown, and a lot of these
The
people
mind is
are.
powerful.
A lot of these people, though, are, some people catch it. Like this one guy, like a truck driver, just saw it on the side of the road, thought it was a bear, and he ends up getting out of his truck and looking closer, and it's got a goat in its arms.
Why
And
would
this
he get
other-
the fuck out of his
I
truck?
don't know. He thought that he'd never seen a bear in his life. He wanted to see one in person. He saw this giant black creature standing out in like underneath like a bridge sort of thing, like off to the distance. Another dude pulls up behind him that he doesn't even know, who also saw it, and he gets out. He's like, "That's not a bear. That is not a." And then the thing kind of turns around and slams its fists into the ground, and they felt like they were gonna like die, right?
Nah.
Then of course they call a police officer who comes out, and the guy's like, "You are not from around here, are you? That was a bear that you saw, or whatever." So, anyways, like I said, it's crazy to me. What has made me think about it in a different way is that these, like I said, these aren't like your like traditional design of Bigfoot that you would think of, like or Sasquatch or whatever, like like the freaking beef jerky one or whatever.
you
It's
think-
not like that. It's something completely different.
Do you think that we get a lot of this Bigfoot propaganda to get us like visually prepared in case there is people out there like that?
I think a lot of that could be that propaganda, as you put it, could be like, oh, well, you saw something, but it didn't look like Bigfoot, or what we know as Bigfoot, the myth. Yeah. So you're just crazy.
All right, Bo, what do you think?
Total non-believer. That's
really
non-believer.
Yeah.
So
I was like that too until I started listening to this stuff.
Yeah, because honestly, like 2 weeks ago, we were trying to talk about Bigfoot, and he was like, "I don't want to talk about that shit."
I honestly hope that I never encounter anything remotely like that.
So I've seen that there's a couple not conspiracies, but like, well, let's say conspiracies, whatever, about the national park system, and that there is a large amount of people that go missing in our national parks, and we don't go looking for them. So, going back to the whole there being caves, and there's like supposedly a huge inner cave system that connects a lot of our, a lot of the world together. Let's just say, or the Northern America, and that's where our national parks are at. And where was I getting to? Oh yeah, a lot of people do go missing, and we don't go looking for them after a certain amount of time. Could you think that could kind of be like, put it this way? Let's say I am the all-knowing government. I know everything, right? Like everything. Like where all the dead bodies are buried. And I knew there was a different species that zoned off in the area. We kind of had an agreement. Like, hey, you stick there. You eat whatever runs around. And a couple nosy-ass tourists go over there cave diving. Take this shit with you. You know what I mean? Like, don't.
I don't really know. I don't really know about all of that. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not a person that trusts the government. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely a conspiracy theorist at heart. I will question everything. You know this about me. But the thing is, with this, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to go into the conspiracy behind it. I think there's something covering up. But my point is, I think these people are seeing something, and I don't know what it is. There are multiple theories. Are they aliens? Are they demons? Are they just an offshoot of humanity that never like evolved in a different way or something like that? I don't know. Whatever belief system that you believe or you subscribe to, like there is an explanation that you can apply to it. I don't know. Me personally, it could be furry. Yeah, 10 foot tall. Big show.
Just trying to get out to my little fuck party.
But the thing is, they say, you know,
and if you don't get out of here, truck driver, I'm gonna punch the ground.
Yeah. But the thing, I mean, definitely. But the thing is, like, I don't know, man. Like, like 2 weeks ago, you would ask me this, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know what's out there. I don't think there's any. But I never really researched it.
I don't not believe it. I think that we'll see. I don't know.
There's just something about these people's stories that is convincing to me.
I heard that they finally figured out what that black picture of the Loch Ness monster. They finally figured out that. Yeah, right. It was a whale's penis, right?
Which doesn't make any sense either.
That makes no sense. Because in a lake, right? So how would the whale get in the lake?
I mean, here's the thing about cryptids.
Do we know that picture was taken in that lake? Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens on Lake Loch Ness. Like, Aleister Crowley had a house out there. He was like the most evil man to ever exist, apparently. Bompton's camera has now been turned off by the Homeland Security because of what he was talking about. They got you, dude.
They got me.
Ultra believers, they'll get you every time.
It's because I said Obama was our first gay president, and they killed me. They got me.
You think Obama's gay?
I think Michelle Obama's a man.
Oh, okay, well, so that makes him gay then.
Sure.
I mean, well, doesn't it?
Maybe I mean, not.
Depends on how you
What does she identify as?
A woman.
Yeah.
The first lady.
And I guess it doesn't.
I've seen a couple videos and a couple cock prints, and that's enough for me to say.
Hear me out. You think that Michelle Obama is really just like
I think that Barack has called her Michael on numerous occasions.
Has that
numerous occasions? Yes, fuck yes. He's called her Michael numerous times, and she got on the Ellen DeGeneres show and did this little hip thing, right? all dick, slapping that fucking women.
You're so fucking
I'm fucking. I will send it to you offline.
You gonna send me some Photoshop video?
It's not Photoshop. It's there's too much. There's too much. She's too big.
But why would
her Adam's apple was as big as Andre the Giant? All right.
Do you think that why wouldn't, like, that would be really progressive for a president to be married to a trans woman, though? Why wouldn't they admit that? You think they weren't ready for that in 2008?
They did admit it. Didn't you see? Joan Rivers said it 2 times, and then 3 weeks later, she died the same way that Michael Jackson died.
She got Epstein, dude. Because
she did. 100%. What the fuck?
I don't know. Anyways, Bo, what's up with you, dude? This is what we do, by the way. We're just gonna keep talking until you butt in.
I have no idea. Like, there's not a lot of stuff that I really tend to ask questions about. I just kind of interject wherever I feel like I can.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Just as a side note, Bo did make fun of Marines earlier. I should say he is a Marine, just for anybody who gets mad.
I feel like I've never seen someone make fun of Marines that wasn't a Marine or isn't a Marine.
Yeah, I know.
By is, we mean was. I'm not one of those once a Marine, always a Marine guys. I feel like, sure, at heart, you can be, but once you're out, you're out. Like, the government's not going to come find me and be like, yo, man, here's your fucking rifle, here's your camis. Time to get your ass back out there, Marine.
I mean, if you're good enough. I've seen Steven Seagal movies recently. That's basically the plot of every one. He's in
he was a Navy SEAL in that. Totally different breed of guys.
There's always a movie where it's like, we need you back, man. You're the best we've ever had. I know you're like 48 years old now, but we need you back to come be the best sniper the world's ever seen. So exactly. Maybe, dude, you might. I mean, you might get a call one day. You know.
Nah, I'm not gonna get a call. Trust me on that one.
I mean, that's what.
Like that guy who didn't really apply all the principles and question things constantly. And now we're good.
So we'll take Jimmy. We'll take Jimmy. You got any stories that could like get you blacklisted or put on a no-fly list or anything like that?
No. I had a pretty standard career, man. It was.
He does cool shit. I don't know if you can talk about it. I'm not sure what you can.
Yeah. I'm a UAV operator, so I fly drones to put it in the layman's terms, I guess you call it. But yeah, I mean, I just fly a camera with wings.
That's sick, dude.
Sick. Yeah, I know.
You know what you should do with that? You need to go out and search for Bigfoot with that bad boy. And you can go and believe
him here in the United States.
Oh, okay.
Fly him in a whole lot of other places, but not here.
Yeah, every few months he's on a ship somewhere, man.
You can borrow one for the weekend. Be like, hey, boss, I can rent this bad boy out for the weekend. I got to find Bigfoot.
I don't even think you could launch it on. Can you launch that on just if you had that outside on the ground?
No, like legally or physically?
No, there's nothing like physically. I mean, physically, not legally.
If I had all the equipment, yeah, I could launch them.
It's fucking sweet, dude. I saw one of them. They're fucking dope. They're a lot bigger than what I thought too.
It depends on what you're looking at, right? Like mine's not too big, right? It's not terribly big, but they go way up in scale from there. Mine's probably one of the smaller ones out there.
So I have a question for you. Do you think in your line of work flying these things that it would be a better experience for you to wear around the neck headphones, or are you more an over the head type of guy?
Over the head, definitely.
Okay, see, there you go. All right.
Depends on what part of the job you're doing, right? Because if you're on the ground and you're doing the launching, what I mean by on the ground is if you're part of the crew that is physically handling the bird and launching it, then you're going to want to have over the head on ear headphones that you can hear through, because obviously when the plane's engine is going, it makes a lot of noise, and so that can be potentially damaging, yada yada. But if you're the dude in the box, it's personal preference at that point. For me, it would be just a speaker. Honestly, like if it's on my shoulders, okay, great, whatever. It wouldn't matter. But like if it was just a speaker right in front of me, and I had a little button that I could push in order to reply to the guys who are physically handling the airplane, well, that would be the easiest thing.
Yeah, okay.
Quick question. Do you have like really like your flight control? Can you do crazy shit with that thing, or is it just pretty standard? Just
No. So it's basically
are you top gunning it? You know,
flight control
upside
is
down, fuck you.
no, not even close. It's more or less driven by the computer, and I'm allowed to give it inputs to tell it like where to be, how high to be, stuff like that. But like I can't shuck and jive with it. I can't,
WSD
yank and bank and all that bullshit. No, I can't.
Oh
do that shit.
man, shit.
I can make it fly in circles, or I can make it fly straight, and I can tell it to climb or descend. That's kind of the limit of how I affect the aircraft while it's flying. Really, where my skill set comes in is one, if there's an emergency, then we do everything we can to bring the plane back safely, and then two is camera control, which is why I love playing video games, right? Because it's constant practice for what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Not shooting things, but controlling the camera, right?
So he
Looking
said.
at things.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I was waiting for Pat to be like, nah.
No. I was gonna
I'm
say,
not
if
ready.
you are,
30, right?
if you are at liberty to say, what do you what do these things do? What do you do with these things?
We watch. We look for. We look for the things that we're told to look for, right? Whatever the specifics happen to be.
Whatever the task is.
Yeah, exactly. Some days it's just going out and watching a road and looking for signs that the road has been messed with, and looking for whether or not the vehicle traffic on the road is standard for the area, or if we found some signs that would tell locals to deviate from that section of the road, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's trying to watch a particular individual, there's a lot of coordination that has to be involved in that. But
That's wild.
Eventually, you look for the signs, and then you follow, and then it's up to other people to determine whether or not you're following the right person. You're not allowed to be in that chain. So we just look for things, and we watch it, and then we tell people like, hey, you might want to keep an eye on this. It looks suspicious or strange to me. Generally my job on the UAVs that fly with just a camera and no munitions or anything like that is to keep people safe, to keep the right people safe.
That makes sense. That's just crazy, man. Just to think of how long can one of those things stay up in the air?
It varies.
It's not gonna tell you that.
I can tell you. It varies. Obviously, each platform's a little bit different, but yeah, it varies.
Cool, that's cool. I can deal with that.
Well, there's anything interesting. I don't want you. Obviously, I'm not trying. You're not stupid enough to say anything you're not allowed to say.
No.
Obviously. But like, is there anything interesting that you would like to? Any stories, anything like that in this line of work that you want to talk about?
Nah, not really. It's like I said, man. There's tons of different things that I've seen and watched and looked at and stuff like that. But I don't really like to expound upon it too terribly much. It's it's work.
Yeah.
And
So what you're telling me is you've seen Bigfoot, but you're not allowed. You're not at liberty to discuss.
They got him too, man. They got him too.
I'll give you one story of something I saw. I was in a different country, and we're flying along this road that really doesn't get traveled at night because that road has problems with bandits and things like that in that particular country. And we don't see any bandits. We don't see any cars. I think I saw no cars along that road. But we're looking back and forth across the road, and there's a ditch. And in this ditch is this large four-legged creature, right?
Oh.
Now, I don't know what animals are native to this country, but I know there's not a lot of large four-legged, like mammal-type creatures. But I looked at it, and it was really hard to gauge perspective from the altitude we were at and the zoom level we were at and stuff. But I thought maybe it was like a giant, like a boar, but this thing was huge, man. I'm talking like, if you think a boar the size of a brown bear, that's what the perspective was telling my brain. I was like, there's no fucking bears like that in this country. I'm pretty sure there aren't even bears in this region of the world. So maybe it's a pig, but it was really, really difficult to distinguish because I was looking on IR. So everything around it is varying shades of gray, and this thing was nice and hot.
Oh,
so it just showed up black, pure black.
Oh,
or I mean, I could switch it, but you got black or white. So,
black
but
or white.
It sure showed up as hot, like not so hot that it would like cause the rest of the picture to adjust.
Was it hotter than the human?
Animal hot, like no, it was definitely like mammal hot though, right? Like it was a warm-blooded creature. But I couldn't tell what it was, man. I thought at first it was a bear, and then I asked the dude I was sitting next to him. He's like, "We don't have bears," and I was like, "All right, it's not a bear. Maybe it's just a big fucking pig." And he's like, "That's not a pig I've ever seen." And I was like, "What is it?" He's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "I don't fucking know either." Dude, like,
dude, so
we watched it until we passed it by, and then we continued on with our road scan and stuff. Yeah, it was.
You didn't see it again?
Nah, never saw it again.
Dude, that could have been one of these things. I'm not trying to say, but what else could it be, right? And that reminds me of another detail that is consistent in these stories. A lot of the stories is that they say they either come up, like they stand up, or they drop down. Is kind of how they put it. And I call it spider mode because the way they describe it, they said this thing moves in a way that no human being on all fours, or even a bear, or even a gorilla could move. And they do drop down to all fours, and they do move in that way.
Did that road you were on have a forest near it?
No, there's no trees.
Let's just say
in that region.
Was there a cave nearby?
Caves,
possibility of caves nearby, but again, it wasn't human. You could tell by its feet and its gait that it definitely didn't have fucking fingers. It wasn't human at all. It was, or even human-esque. It was definitely like I said, bear, large boar, something crazy like that.
I mean, it could have been a huge pig. I've seen hogs that are pretty large. I mean, especially wild ones, dude. They do get pretty big, and I don't know what country you're in, but it's definitely possible that it could have been, just a big old hog. Or, it could have been a Sasquatch, dude. You just never really know.
Yeah, I've just never seen anything that big. There's one, maybe two things I've ever seen that are that big in that region of the world, but those are very distinct animals, right? An elephant is a 100% distinct animal. There's no really mistaking an elephant.
Nah.
There's also no mistaking a camel. If you've ever seen a camel in real life, you could tell by any shadow that you're looking at a goddamn camel, right?
Right.
This was none of those things. It was.
Would you say how big was this thing?
Probably about the size of a brown bear. Is now again, it's perspective, right? Altitude, angle, and zoom level. So, all of those things can shape something up to look a little bit different than what it is, but you're just looking at a black. It looks like a black two-dimensional. It's like you take a fucking circus animal cookie, right? Mm-hmm. And you paint it black and then put it on a gray background. Mm-hmm. And then try to tell yourself, like, what is that circus animal cookie? Is that a fucking, So that's what that was, right? Because it's, it's doing its thing. It's like hunting or foraging or, whatever it was doing.
Was it moving at all? Could you see it moving?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was moving.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I thought it was a bear at first, was because the way its hind legs were moving was reminiscent to me of how a bear's hind legs move. Like they have this kind of stiff, wobbly ass movement to them. It's kind of strange. So that's what I thought it was. But he's like, there's no fucking bears here, man. I was like, I didn't think so, but yeah, I can't explain what that is right
It was the dog man.
It was the dog man. It's Florida man.
now. It was man, bear, pig.
No, I have no idea, man. Yeah, it could have been, dude. You never know, man. That is really, all jokes aside, that is really fascinating to me. You know, that's
Have you noticed this fucking health potion he's been drinking this whole time?
yeah, dude. I mean, what is that? Are you a what is that?
I'm just a fucking geek, dude. So,
Elden Ring got the best of him.
so I do play Elden Ring, and I played Skyrim. I played so many RPGs throughout my life, but I also play like D&D and stuff on occasion.
Yeah,
Very few occasions. It's really hard to find people who
it's hard to get
can
people to
play,
stick together.
are willing to play,
yeah.
and then find somebody who has the skill and the time to run a game. Right? That's kind of the really hard part. But yeah, so we had seen some dude on TikTok. My wife had seen him make a drink that he called the mana potion, right? And he put this drink list together, or the ingredients list together, and we tried it. And I was like, it actually kind of tastes like shit, but it looks cool because it's like this semi-translucent blue color with edible glitter swirling around in it. So it's visually, it's really cool looking, right? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's try to make that. So then my wife went and bought these little bottles because they look kind of like the mana potion bottles from like Diablo and half the other games out there. And so I made it, didn't like it, made my own version of it, liked it a whole lot more. And the blue was, I think, a little better. It was more azure and less kind of a white blue, right? A really light blue. I was like, yeah, that's really cool looking. Made it, put it on the shelf because I have this kind of cool decanter that it sits next to very well. It looks neat, kind of like a conversation piece. And I was like, well, fuck, I got a mana potion. I need to make a fucking health potion.
Yep.
So then I made this red one. Same thing. It was kind of my own ingredient list. It doesn't quite have the dark red that I would like it to have, but if you make it that color, it tastes like shit. So it's like overly sweet, and I don't really know enough other alcoholic concoctions out there to make a decent dark red drink that's not overly sweet, right? So I made this through some of that edible glitter in it, which I don't think you can actually see. And then put that on the shelf. Well, earlier today, I'm sitting here playing Tarkov, and my wife's like, I want a drink. And I was like, you know what? I could take a drink too. She's like, what do you want? And I said, let's do that. Let's do that mana potion.
No,
so she brought it up.
You said some other shit. I was like, that was weird, dude. What did you say?
I don't even remember, man.
My soul is depleted. Or
I probably said something stupid like that.
Like, what the fuck?
My HP. I need HP.
I was like, I said, I have an imbalance of humors, is what I said. And so she brought me up the mana potion, and I drank it down. And then when I saw Drew with the tequila tonight, I was like, shit, man, I kind of want to drink.
Shout out to
drink
Kim,
now.
because Kim's the shit.
Yeah.
Kim is
right on. You know, I didn't know if it, I'm glad you said that. You know, my next question was like, is it an alcoholic drink or just like some hummingbird feed that you're sipping on there?
No, yeah, I wouldn't do it if it was an alcoholic drink.
Hummingbird.
I would, fuck
One time-
that. Why one, make the purchase, and then two, go through all that trouble just for some. It wouldn't even be a soda, right? It'd be like fucking juice. Like, no thanks. I'll just
Bomp might judge
color,
you for being nerdy or whatever, but dude, I play in D&D. I freaking into that stuff, dude. I think it looks sick, regardless if it's alcoholic or not.
Oh, dude,
I'll drink Kool-Aid out of something like that. I don't care.
Hey,
I
don't
wish I
you
could
do
show you a
D&D?
picture of the blue one. The blue one looked really fucking cool.
You have to put
you
it
send me a
in
picture.
this chat later. Take a picture
For
and put it
sure.
into the chat so we can see it. Don't you do D&D on Discord, Pat?
I have. But just like Bo, it's kind of hard to get enough people consistently together that are willing to kind of stick with it. We've played, I've played a few like sessions or whatever here and there with different various campaigns and stuff. I've never ran one because I still don't feel like I know the game well enough to really be good at dungeon mastering, but like if I can find a group of people that would be willing to work with me, I could maybe do that. The only thing is I don't, you got to do a lot of research, you got to really know the game, and I don't really know it that way. I just kind of...
I'd be down to try.
My current character is a bard that is heavily based on Fred Durst, frontman of Limp Bizkit. His name is his name is Marilyn Mudvayne.
Jesus Christ.
So I don't take the game super serious in terms of like the fantasy setting.
No, I try not to take it ultra serious either.
I will shoehorn in any new metal reference that I can during the, not to the point where it's obnoxious, but anytime that my character has a moment to like have a one-liner, it's usually some sort of like lyric or something like that. That's just kind of, I like to have fun with it.
By the way, I heard that music that you sent me, it was really good, man.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a concept sort of album right now. It's in very early development. My brother's gonna help me produce it. I'm just kind of writing right now, but me and my cousins are getting involved again. I've played with a band with them for 10 years plus now over the years, and we've put out stuff or whatever. But this is kind of more my thing. I feel like I know they're interested, but this is me definitely taking the, I guess, trying to. Yeah, in terms of the music, I don't care if people like it. I don't give a crap if it's popular or what. It's kind of a stoner doom metal sort of vibe. I've always been a fan of like Black Sabbath and Corrosion of Conformity and things like that, and like Clutch, those types of bands. And this is kind of my love letter to those. And oddly enough, even before I started getting I kind of started getting into the Bigfoot thing as a sort of research device for this project, because what I want to do is I want to kind of make it a concept album, and I want to make every song about some sort of different like urban legend or cryptozoology or something. Like I kind of want to do that. There's songs written about women, there's songs written about drugs. I kind of want to make a whole album based on like the unknown, and I think it'd be sick, dude. I'll keep sending you demos and stuff like as it comes.
Yeah, I loved them. I thought it was great. Yeah. I loved it. I'm sorry, I loved it. I thought it was great.
I've got about 6 or 7.
Are you playing any of that?
Right?
Like, is that any of you?
I'm playing all of that. Yeah.
That's all you? All right.
The drums are drum loops that I've gotten offline that are just kind of, like I said, that's very rough like detail. Once we get actually into the recording process, once it's written, then it'll be more. But yeah, all the guitars and bass and everything are me.
That's dope, bro. That's super dope.
I'm not very good, but I can.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And I don't listen to that music, and I listened to the whole thing. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Dude.
I didn't turn it off and lie to you, so I was like, I was gonna listen to 5 minutes. I was like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm kind of going in a different kind of I don't know. Like I said, I had no judgment-free zone. I don't care if the song is good or not. I'm putting it out if it comes to me.
As long as you don't start piercing your penis, I'm good. No,
you don't have to worry about that. No, why would you? Even if I did that, why would you have to worry about that? I don't think that's really. I don't know. I mean,
he's just trying to plan for the future.
Bompton, if it happens, I'll let you know. All right.
I tried getting the ladder. The 3 rings to get the ladder, but I can only do one, so it's like a stepping stool. Just.
Yeah, okay, I got you. You got the little lift. Okay.
Like a lasso.
Up and to the left.
So yeah, was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
No, but I think we hit an hour.
Yeah, we did pretty much. I was gonna ask Bo, is there anything you need to plug or you want to do? You got Instagram or anything like that? You got
nah, he's like
TikTok.
I'm about the most plain ass dude you're gonna find out.
He has like 50 of those shirts, just all different colors.
Hey,
one's
fuchsia. If it was cooler weather down
like
here,
Al Borland from fucking.
Yeah, I've been called Al Borland, unironically in real life. I've been called. I used to work with a guy that called me Paul Bunyan, and it stuck the rest of the.
Looks like Paul Bunyan.
If it was cooler weather down here for more of the year, I would probably wear exclusively flannel shirts. I do have a bunch of them, but we get like 2 weeks of winter down here, so.
That's probably the only worth a shit thing for me so far about living up in the Pacific Northwest is that I at least get to wear flannels
Yeah.
quite a bit more often than I would anywhere else.
You said you said he's from Georgia?
No, you're from Georgia. He's
Oh,
from
yeah, yeah.
Florida.
Oh, you're from Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I lived there for a while.
Okay,
Well,
right
not
on,
from
yeah.
Florida, but he likes it better. Than
yeah, I'm Brompton likes to say I live in Atlanta, which could not be further from
Atlanta.
the truth. I live about 5 hours south. I'm closer to Florida than I could walk to Florida right now if I started.
I was gonna say, man, like 5 hours south of Atlanta is pretty damn close to Florida.
If you're driving down Interstate 95, I'm on the county I live in is the last exit before you get to Florida. So
Ooh,
okay, yeah.
it's,
He's in the military town, actually.
Sounds awesome.
It's not that great. I've lived here my whole life though, so I don't really know much else.
I keep telling him to move his pale ass up here, come stay with me, and he'll fucking kill it out here. The white women out here would fucking love him. And he's like, no, I don't want to.
I didn't say that. I said maybe. I didn't say you're gonna rape me, but you might. So
might pee on your corn.
Bompton, you might pee on my corn. Do you want to do the outro? Do you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, man. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us for another hour, man. Appreciate Bo for hanging out with us and coming on the show. Appreciate Kim hanging out. You know, getting some drinks ready for Bo so he can be ready to do this.
Get some potions ready.
And then
Potion Master.
Yeah, that thing's dope. I'm gonna have to get some. You know,
if anybody is a dungeon master and you would like a guy in flannel to join your party, we do know a guy. Just
we
reach
know
out.
a guy. No, two guys.
Reach out. We know two guys actually. Yeah, we could be the lumberjack brothers in the party. Two barbarians. But yeah, so you can find us on wherever Bompton posts or lack thereof.
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram. Where else do we have? We have a YouTube. The Log Cabin Podcast. You can try to search it and find it. Log Cabin Clips on TikTok, I think, and Instagram.
Spotify's the best. You get the full episode.
Spotify. If you're listening to this, you're already on Spotify. So yeah. Thanks a lot for that one, Bompton, Mr. State the Obvious.
Captain Obvious. I love you, Sam. Good night.
Later.